you'll know we're close to a friend. After this, I'll be on the mend. You laugh and point while I lay there on the floor. My pain is your rejoice. Blood or bruised, it's a Sophie's choice. If there's chance for pain, you'll sit back and watch it rain. And if I threw a party with dancing candles and a cake, I would find that your gift would be unkind, and the card attached would say, you'll know we're close to a friend. You really hate me. You'll know we're close to a friend. You just don't like me. You'll know we're close to a friend. You despise me. The box score starts right now.
I don't know a lot about sports, but I can drink a lot of beer.
My motto is simple. C's get degrees.
Need a long, inappropriate hug? I'm your man.
I think I'm smarter than you, because I probably am.
Howard Coward for box score.
All right, hello, welcome to the Box Score. I'm Brock in Los Angeles. They are the Danettes. You knew when we saw it last night that we would be talking about today. Odell Beckham Jr. and the Panthers' Josh Norman going at it all game, followed up by Odell Beckham Jr. giving him a shot right in the ear hole. McLovin, you said this didn't matter because they were small guys, so let me ask you, what was the dirtiest hit you have ever seen, your Broad Street Bullies included?
Wow. You know, I saw Andre Waters, I think it was part of the concussion movies. Man, this Odell Beckham thing, that wasn't even hitting. That was like ping pong. He would spear a guy who was 40 yards from the play on a consistent basis at least 20 times a game. Andre Dirty Waters, remember him?
How does this compare to when we were shooting promos out in the field in Milford and you jumped over the pile and kicked me directly in the head? Does it compare similar?
And then argued about it.
No. It's not very similar because Josh Norman's like actually tough. Like he's an athlete. He can handle just a little bit of contact.
Now, when you told me, remember when you kicked me in the head and you told me I was mistaken and it wasn't you? And I must be concussed from the kick in the head.
Yeah, because that's because you were so small, I didn't even notice. I thought I actually tripped over.
You didn't realize there was footage at the show.
Even Fritzy was demonstrative. He said you kind of kicked me in the head, which for Fritzy means.
Oh, here it is.
It was
Yeah.
very,
Look at this.
Yeah.
very clear upon further.
And look, you didn't stop. Look, you stopped. Boom.
To line up your shot.
Yeah.
There's definitely, like, when I did it, there was definitely, like, a hollow noise. Like, there wasn't much going on in there. When I did it, it was like a kong.
Yeah. It's all right. You're only size 13. That's fine.
Those big lumber legs and your head bounces off the ground. That looked pretty vicious. All right, well, Mike Pereira joined the show today and talked about what would determine a suspension for Odell Beckham Jr. for such a shot.
Well, I think that the thing that you look at is, was it a football act? When you look at hits on defenseless players, you know, you get the big hits, but they're trying to make a play. I mean, they're trying to dislodge the ball. There's no football act here. I mean, this was just an act to punish, and with intent. And so, you know, they'll certainly discuss that aspect of it too. And when you get to that area of it not being a football act, then that will probably, you know, push the meter over to the suspension side.
Yeah, I'm glad he said what he said and didn't take the NFL stand or anything like that, which he doesn't. He's ever since he's been removed from the head of officiating, he's been very honest with what he's seeing, and it was blatant, it was obvious, and I'm surprised it's been taking this long for them to officially announce that he's being removed from being able to play in the Sunday night game against the Vikings. He had no business doing that. He had a number of incidents. I think Pereira counted like 5 or 6 different things that he had a problem with, and I guess he was, whistled or flagged for 3 of them. So he should definitely be sitting out the Sunday night game against Minnesota.
For everyone's safety. Well, a guy who is familiar with some big hits is J.J. Watt. He joined the show today, talked about a myriad of topics with the boss. Paulie, if he wasn't a football player, what should he be doing with his life?
Watt? I think his dad was a fireman. I could see him do something like that. I could see him, taking Instagram photos as he's running into a fire, like just running into the fire. Like he would take the helmet off and the air tank off and go like tank top, and then he'd take the picture and then put all the safety equipment back on.
Don't you see more of a walking out with ash on his face and all sweaty?
Right.
I mean, that's a given.
It could be just like a smoke alarm, and he would have 8 babies in his arms like this, while in a full flex with the babies coming out of the fire.
He's just saving lives. All right, well, I'm not sure if J.J. Watt has a future in commercial acting, but he certainly is pretty positive that Dan doesn't have a future as a commercial stylist.
You know what would have been nice? Flannel and eye black. I would have been fine with that.
The eye black? Please.
Over
you
your
guys
uniform?
Would more for wearing eye black than for wearing my full uniform.
No, I didn't like the uniform out
Look
there.
Look at this guy with eye black. Is it sunny out in the middle of the woods, JJ? Is it sunny? Yeah. Don't worry about the glare? Okay.
Yeah, the glare
I know how you guys work.
Yeah, the eye black really would have been the awkward part of that chopping wood in a football uniform commercial. The eye black is what would have put it over the top. You know, that one I don't mind. I think it's actually kind of funny that he's out there chopping wood. I don't fully understand the country singer guy yelling in his face to get him pumped up and that. Like, somehow he smashes the guitar and then, like, all he does after that big thing is go, woo, and get up and walk off. Like, he should have smashed something or something. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't really add up to me, that commercial.
I was watching that commercial, and who's the band?
Zach Brown band?
Zach Brown.
That's Zach Brown?
Yeah, he was on stage.
Did he really get fired up with Zach Brown?
He's wearing like a derby hat or something.
Yeah, like I was like, oh man,
like you're
actually,
not gonna get me fired
I was like,
up.
they're about to hit the music. It's gonna be Metallica, and it is gonna rock.
Or even like get Dwight Yoakam would have been like, you ready to go? And you're like, hell yeah, Mr. Yoakam.
I actually saw Zach Brown at last year's Super Bowl. I saw Zach Brown band.
Yes.
And they like covered Simon and Garfunkel. Like it wasn't. They're not exactly like let's go.
Yeah. Zach Brown is not Lemmy Kilmister.
Yeah. I don't know. It wasn't what I expected.
Yeah, come on, JJ. Parsley, rosemary, and thyme. All right, coming up. Bridge over troubled water. Go get him. All right, coming up, Steve Harvey or Jack Palance. Who you got? Well, not really, but kind of. I'll explain it here after the break. But first, here is this.
That's mean.
No.
How would you rate your acting?
Bro.
His answer was, win the 16 games on our schedule and.
No, bro.
No,
bro.
All
right. Maybe we should take a break right now. All right. You want to avoid a suspension? You know what? The winner of the contest is the F-150. Oh, no, I'm sorry. First runner-up is the F-150. The winner is the Ram 1500 Eco Diesel. Yes, climbing hills, holding trailers, and doing all of the Lord's work 7 days a week. Guts, glory, Ram.
If there was a Ron Burgundy School of Broadcasting, these guys definitely would have flunked out. You're watching Brock and the Danettes on the Box Score.
Spoiler alert, Ron, I never did attend. All right, we are back here in the Box Score. You guys have quite a history with Will Ferrell on the show. You guys partied with him out at the Super Bowl. Everyone thinks he's doing double duty as Shay, and he even watches you guys in the bathroom every day. Paulie, what was the coolest part about having him in studio as Ron Burgundy?
I think I wouldn't say how serious he took it, but he's a true performer. Yeah. He wanted to crush it. He did not, he didn't just come in here and say, this will naturally be funny. He had some bits planned. He had some ideas planned. We wrote up a couple things that he liked, and he did them on air. He was all in, and it shows what a great performer is. During the breaks, one time I went and talked to him, and we were off mic. He goes, how do you think it's going? I'm like, are you kidding? He goes, no. He goes, anything you want me to, and I was like, he took it very, very seriously. He wanted to give great TV for 2 hours.
And he never acted like he was doing us a favor or anything, and he's making suggestions and all that.
I think he thought it was a fun idea. I mean, it was totally his idea. We told the story before. He came up to McLovin and I, totally his idea. And, it is legendary. The longer I get from it, every time I see that clip or that picture, I'm like, I can't believe this happened. And it's just one of those that you'll remember forever.
It was a great day. Anchorman may be one of his best films, but another one is Elf, and Dan asked him, will there be a sequel?
Boy, the studio would love to do the Elf thing, but that's a tough one because thematically that's a classic kind of fish out of water story, and he discovered the whole a brand new world, and once you've kind of crossed that line, I don't know what else you do with Buddy now has 2 kids and lives in suburbia, but is still amazed by an ATM machine. I don't know what you do with that character.
Yeah, it's an interesting look at things because, right, what are you supposed to do with that? I don't really know where the character goes from here. And it is nice to see him not just picking up the monstrous check that's waiting for him, but rather like, you know what, I just want to make a really killer movie, and that doesn't seem like one. What are you supposed to do?
What comedy's ever stopped, or whatever movie has ever stopped and said, you know, there's no reason that we need a sequel? They always do it anyway for that exact reason.
But not the great ones. Like the great ones shouldn't have had a sequel.
Caddyshack screwed up.
Shouldn't have had a sequel.
Yeah.
Slapshot shouldn't have had one. You know, I don't even know what other comedies you throw in there, but there's no Stripes 2. And I'll bet someone offered Bill Murray a check one time to do Stripes 2.
Yeah.
Go back there when he's 50.
Stripes and Animal House.
I think Will Ferrell financially is good enough to where he says, like, man, I could take a check for $20 million and taint this thing. Right. Or I could just already have $200 million in the bank, so I'll be okay.
Would you want an Animal House too, though?
I wouldn't go see it.
No.
I'm not gonna see. I saw the promos, by the way, for Point Break 2, and I gotta tell you, the promos aren't bad as far as like they blow it up and make it wild and out of hand. But I'm still not gonna see it.
I don't know why they called it Point Break 2. They should have just called it
I think it's
like
just
a totally
Point Break.
different.
Yeah, I think it's just
or like, okay, well, like, but why call it Point Break?
Right.
Why not call it like Over the Edge or something? Just make it a whole new movie. It doesn't have to be part of that same.
But Over the Edge is one of our favorite movies of all time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Over the Edge is taken.
Damn. Well, some other one then.
All right. I don't know if Will Ferrell's going to be in Point Break 2 today, but a story that was tailor-made for his appearance was the Steve Harvey snafu on the Miss Universe contest, and he recalled a time when a similar thing happened on the Oscars.
Do you remember the Marissa Tomei, my cousin Vinny, Oscar moment?
No.
Whoever was presenting, the urban legend is that she didn't actually win, and that he looked up on the prompter and saw the last name of the last nominee and just went, Marissa Tomei. I hope Marissa's not listening right now. She's going to be pissed at me.
Paulie, do you have that with Jack Palance in front of you?
Yeah, I'm watching it, and Will may have a point because you see Jack Palance waving at the teleprompter guy, roll it down, and then he goes to.
Got a little hitch there, right?
Yeah, there's definitely a hitch, and then he goes to the envelope and he squints at it like he can't really get the envelope, and he looks back up and he says, Marissa Tomei.
That's amazing, and I totally get it. You know, when they showed on camera the picture of the card, I'm like, oh, he didn't screw it up. It says right there, Colombia. And then I see winner down here is Philippines. I totally get what happened to Steve Harvey. I totally get what could happen to Jack Palance, which I'm convinced that happened just based on that story. So I get it.
And you know, part of that, like Oscars, that Marissa Tomei has been pretty famous for saying, like, she thought her career would have gone a lot better after winning an Oscar.
Yeah.
And she basically disappeared after that. I mean, she wasn't getting sniffed for any work. I wonder if there's part of that feeds into it. Like, how do you go from winning an Oscar and then going like on a forced break for like 10 years or something, like all of a sudden coming back? Maybe it's a little.
There you go.
All right, let's say
Hollywood Insider.
I'm going to put the old producer test on. I'm going to let you guys vote on this one. Brock, I want your vote on this too. Sure. Odell Beckham Jr. and Steve Harvey call at the same time, and we can only put one on air. And that's it.
Oh, I'd put Steve Harvey on.
So would I.
Not even
I
close.
go Harvey also.
And I agree.
Yeah, not even close.
Not even close.
You're getting a much wider audience with that.
Odell Beckham would also be a home run.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just,
But
you know.
we've been getting some of the stuff he said like afterwards, where it's like, you know, you get caught up in the
Steve
moment,
Harvey,
and you're a competitor. He'd say that over and over.
What
again.
if Steve Harvey said that you get caught up in the moment? You're just a presenter.
But Steve Harvey's a comedian, and I think he would have fun with it and dance.
And I think, you know what the difference is? Not everyone in the world is talking about Odell Beckham today.
Nobody outside the United
Literally
States.
every show in the world is talking about Steve Harvey.
No other country in the world knows who Odell Beckham is.
Right.
Yeah, it's Steve Harvey all day. And poor Miss Columbia. So hopefully she'll find some work somewhere. Maybe a Carl's Jr. commercial. All right. Oh, and Marissa Tomei was doing all right. She appeared topless in The Wrestler, so there's that. All right, stick around. We have our final battle up next. Welcome back to Box Score. Oh, I guess I never really appreciated them enough. The mock headlines. This is our last one. And I don't know if the cardboard box I'll be living in behind the studios will have Wi-Fi or DirecTV, so I don't know if I'll get my headlines. I mean, I'll have newspapers for bedding and to use as towels. Those headlines will be old. Oh well, for the final edition of, here we go.
Mock Headline Battle Royale.
I give you a headline, you give me a mock headline. The first headline, Sepp Blatter banned from soccer for 8 years. Let's start in the back row with McLovin.
Oh, that's a mistake right there. Okay. Sepp, a rating, fact from fiction. Blatter, former FIFA fiefdom forcefully forgotten. Yeah. Boo! That sucked.
They go back with it. All right, front row and Paulie.
Empty bladder. Sepp pissed about not so wee-wee suspension.
Wow.
Empty bladder.
That's so weird.
Golden job there. Fritzy, what do you got?
The Hateful Eight. He should step down for life.
That's almost a headline.
Oh, wow.
And Seton, your headline, please.
We actually got a quote from Sepp Blatter after finding out about his punishment. Said Blatter, quote, "This is bad, but working on the box score for 8 years would have been worse."
The shot. Right on your way to the unemployment line.
Oh, it's 2 T's. 2 T's, thank you. All right, second headline. Antonio Brown catches for 189 yards and 2 touchdowns as the Steelers down the Broncos. We will start with Paulie again.
Brock, I had a bunch of bad ones written, but after round 1, I'm going to give no headline, and I think it will be better than at least 2 that are coming next.
Wow, that's...
We shall see. Fritzy, your submission.
Hold.
Got applause.
I've got Hines and Lowe's. They had to catch up, but Pittsburgh ultimately downs Denver.
Oh, a Hines reference with Pittsburgh?
bad.
That's very dated. I got one.
That's not bad.
Anticipation of Seton's.
What can Brown do for you? Does he have any experience hosting a struggling TV show?
Oh. He's talking about you, Brock.
That was
towards you.
Directed
and
at
the
you,
producers. Mostly you. No, not the person.
Okay. And finally, McLovin.
It's steel curtains for anyone who tries to stop Antonio Brown.
Won that round.
Our third headline, Danny Woodhead catches 3 touchdown passes and runs for 1 in the Chargers' win over the Dolphins. Fritzy, let's start with you.
We're back to the old toy chest. Sporting Woodhead, hard not to get aroused in possible San Diego Swan Song.
That's a classic.
Out of the toy chest.
One more opportunity to get that in.
Freaky Fritzies. Seton, you're next.
Wondering how Danny Woodhead did this weekend? Check the box score. Literally the only place talking about him today.
Wow.
The box score. So you can check the box score to get his stats or watch this show.
Double
Twofer.
Yeah, okay. McLovin, what do you got?
I just want to apologize for Seton's mean tone before I go on to mine. This does not represent the view of the other Danettes. Okay, Woodhead of the class. Danny impressive enough to catch the eye of lazy West Coast producers, even though the rest of the nation doesn't care.
Good but wordy.
That's wordy, but it works.
It's factually true.
Yeah.
Fact, journalistically, it's right.
Chock full of facts. Paulie. The beef.
I don't even remember my
beef stew of truth right there.
Mini me. Woodhead Austin powers the Chargers to a win. Mini me.
Finally, our last headline. The box score gets canceled.
Ever.
Let's start with the front row. Ooh, ouch. And Seton.
Sorry. Euthanasia. Brock Everett's slow, painful mercy killing of a show anything but compassionate.
Kevorkian.
Sorry, it's just content. I didn't really mean it.
No. Why do I taste pennies in my mouth, in the left arm? Okay, who do we go to next here? Kill me now, Fritzy.
Caught between a box and a hard place, management cites budget ratings for settling the score.
Wow. I'm going factual.
Very specific.
Wow, yeah, that was
going literal.
Well, unnecessarily literal.
Yeah.
You know, it's supposed to be fun, Fritzy.
Yeah, boy, that's right out of the report. All right, Paulie, your headline.
Now, unlike Seton, I mean mine. Brock blocked. Formerly prosperous recap show torpedoed by Husky Kansan. Husky Kansan. Husky's not bad.
It's all his fault.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Not us.
And finally, McLovin, put a period on this thing. Or an exclamation point.
I also have Brock Block, but I do it a different way. Brock Block, savvy executive smart enough to keep deranged host away from America.
Savvy.
Okay, boy, who could it be? Our final Mock Headline Championship belt goes to Seton.
Yeah.
Thought I had that
Mock Headlines.
Oh, yeah. And if you would be in...
At least we got our money's worth out of this belt.
Yeah, no, do me a favor. Send that back to L.A. with you, if you would. I'm going to take that out and melt it for scrap. I could use some cash right now. But first is the box score. We are taking a break to remind you that the Ram Heavy Duty may never come back. Hell, it's going to be back before I am. With its best-in-class towing, torque, and horsepower, it doesn't need a break. God's glory, Ram, could you spare a dollar?
So Fritzy's son, who's like 17, walks up there. How old is he?
He's 13.
Yeah, 13. He's had a bar mitzvah months ago. Comes up there, and he was in the middle. All the kids hadn't gone yet.
Yeah.
And he went up there, took 2 cuts, and took down the entire piñata.
He's very competitive.
Yes.
When you're old enough to do the Jose Bautista bat flip and not go get the candy.
We are closing up shop here on the box score. Guys, there were a couple issues at the Patrick family Christmas party. Now, it's happened before where Fritzy's daughter went out and got a little psycho on Dan, but this year, his son, who I believe is 23 years old with a full beard, went over and went all Ken Griffey Jr. on that piñata before the rest of the kids could play. I mean, Seton, do the Fritz kids just party too hard?
Man, well, there's something about the Fritz family that parties pretty hard. We don't really talk about that a lot, but there's been some evidence of Todd partying hard. So I don't know if the apple falls too far from the tree there. But there was sort of a transition between realizing that you're not a kid anymore and that you're now a young adult or a man. And this is just going to be a bump in that road.
But you're supposed to go from you're supposed to step up. You're supposed to go from ruining the dreams of young kids at a piñata event to a bar mitzvah with a celebrity.
But you have to also tie it into that as a young man realizing, oh, I don't get to do all this awesome stuff like hit piñatas anymore. Just when I'm big enough to absolutely crush it and be the man and be like, got it, nailed it.
I'm disappointed. I would hope that he would have been old enough.
Now, where were you for this event? Were you inside?
I was inside having chili or soup or something, pasta fagioli, which was really good. And
if you had been outside, would you have said something?
I wouldn't have said not to participate. I would have asked him to at least get to the very back and let every other kid get at least one shot. And then if he wants to show off how tough he is by beating up a piñata. But, I would have liked to have, for him to have said, realize either he was too old to play altogether or give everybody a chance, which obviously was not the case. So a little bummed that he didn't know better than that.
That's right, Jordan. You're a man. You do what you got to do. All right, well, there was another Danette child issue, and that's when Polly's darling little 4-year-old emasculated McLovin right in front of his family.
I'll just say it. The Paps family walks out, and a member of the Paps family says, "Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye, duty head," and looks right at me and just walks out the door.
My wife said that to you?
So, Paulie's daughter
called
you a duty head.
Yep, and which is fine. It wouldn't be a big thing, except that it forever changed my daughter's life, and who now talks about that moment incessantly for 48 hours straight. She's 3.
She thought it was funny?
She thought it was the funniest thing that has ever happened in the history of the world. Yeah, it is amazing. Actually, one of the guys who works in the back, Alan, witnessed the moment when my daughter Emma, my daughter Emma turned like this, like. Somebody can call another person a duty head? Duty head.
I love the fact that McLovin and his wife are educated. They're hipsters. They live in New York City. I see how they parent. They're very engaged. I think they read magazines and books and try all these different techniques.
All that.
And in 3 seconds, my family was able to undo years of what they tried to do with just a couple words. So I'm very proud of my entire family.
All right, I think this is enough of this duty head stuff here. Fritzy, who's on tomorrow?
Reggie Miller.
You didn't even say Aloysius.
Yeah, I'll give you time if you want to. All right, the hell with it.
But Antonio Brown said.
Yeah. Okay, thanks for watching the box score. Catch us weekdays here, but not for long. 3 p.m. Eastern. The podcast is available on iTunes or podcast1.com. It's going away slowly, and I'm dying.
I don't know a lot about sports, but
I can drink a lot of beer.
my motto is simple. C's get degrees.
Need a long, inappropriate hug? I'm your man.
I think I'm smarter than you because I probably am.
Hey, thanks for watching the box score. Holy cow!